If he said something to me, I don't remember. I don't know if I have his cell phone number here.
I've got it.
He'll be here.
George said he was gonna be here, but I haven't seen, he hasn't called in yet.
Tim's
Tim
online.
just called in.
Yeah, there's Tim.
Hey,
I just need
Hello.
George.
Hello, Tim.
How
Wasn't-
is everyone?
so far,
George
so
was gonna
good.
call in.
Yeah.
George was gonna call, wasn't he, Jeremy?
Yeah, George was gonna call in.
We're waiting for one more person?
Yeah, George said he was gonna call in, so we could either get started or, well, I think that's probably him.
He just popped on
This is George.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
Mr. Clemens. I did let him know I was calling in today. Yeah. How are you folks?
Good.
Think we're all good.
Good.
That's everybody. Do a roll
Alrighty.
call, if you can do a roll call, Tim, of everybody that's on.
Yes. Get my list out here. Right here next to my heart. Okay, just real quickly, for roll call purposes, Tim Meyer, I'm here. Rick Snodgrass? Here. Mike Landeris?
Present?
Jeff Gross? Present. George Clemens? I'm here. And Jeremy Mullins? Here. Hey, did I miss anyone?
That's everyone.
Alrighty. Make a note. All right. Typically, we would start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to call this meeting to order, first of all. Welcome, everyone. And we'd like to do a Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We can stand and face the flag behind Jeremy.
I've got one too.
Very good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right. We shall begin with the minutes of the meeting. Have in the board pack the minutes everyone should have gotten. I assume everyone has a copy of that. Does anyone have any corrections, changes, adjustments?
I didn't see anything.
No.
Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
This is Rick. I make the motion. Approve as presented.
Snodgrass makes motion to approve as presented. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that. This is Mike.
That was Mike.
Yes.
Okay. I will call for a roll call vote. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes.
Mike Lendaris,
Yes.
Mike Lendaris,
Yes.
thank you. Jeff Gross,
Yes.
George Clemens.
Yes.
Very good, all right. Thank you very much. The motion is approved and minutes will be recorded as presented. Second item on the list is the claims, and I'll turn it over to Jeremy for that, Jeremy Skinner for that.
We have a few claims today. We've got A&Z Engineering, $11,901.53. That is for ongoing engineering for 300 North and 200 West. A&Z Engineering, $1,102.50 is for ongoing engineering for the Sylvia's Crossing and US 30 improvements. Wessler Engineering, $737.08. I think that is for the Airport Industrial Park. $310,952.69. This is our contract for the 300 North and Roundabout project for Fenton Brown. Mid-City Supply, $78.44. Babsco, $112.16. That is for the Plaza project that we're doing the irrigation, relocating that irrigation in-house. So we're paying the Parks Department and paying for those supplies to do that. John Kimple and Association, $2,550 is for Tech Park Phase 2, as-built. Kendall Electric, $52.39 is for the park project. Warsaw Wholesale, $928.87. I'm assuming that's the pipe for the park as well. Yeah. And Warsaw Engineering, $95 is also for the irrigation system. Superior Landscaping, $505.49 is for the irrigation system as well. HRP Construction, $640,072.80 is for the Airport Industrial Park. And then I have a walk-in. If you want to approve it, it's up to you. Otherwise, we can kick it to the next meeting. I just got it today, but it is $15,911, and it is for also for the Airport Industrial Park for HRP, and it is for additional work for an HDP force main, where the original force main was tied into. The wastewater had requested to relocate that to a safer manhole and to change the connection point so that it was just safer for our employees to work in those manholes if and when necessary. So that work was contracted to do. And like I said, I just got the invoice today, so we can wait a month or you can approve it as a walk-in. It's $15,911.
And when was that work performed?
It was done a couple of months ago when they were originally tying the force main in. The old force main was still there, and it involved us removing the old force main, tying in the new force main, changing the location and what manhole it was tied into, so that originally it was going to run all the way back down Rainbow Drive. So we shortened the distance and created a drop pipe in it, so it's just easier for and safer for our crews to work in. And that had come at the request of the wastewater department, and I agreed to pay for that work to be done as part of the Airport Industrial Park project.
Good, thank you. We appreciate you paying for that.
Okay, the Redevelopment Commission agreed to pay for that.
Oh, I thank you for clarifying.
You know, given
Okay.
what just happened in Columbia City, that's money well spent.
Mike, you're gonna have to speak up. We could not hear you that.
Oh, I was just making a comment, given what just happened in Columbia City, that's money well spent in my view.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
We do not want anyone to be at risk
No,
because of a construction project.
not worth it.
No?
Okay. Are there any discussion questions? I just had one question about the irrigation project. What's the rationale for the redevelopment commission pay for that irrigation supplies as opposed to the Parks Department?
So that.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, so the existing irrigation is being relocated as part of our plaza project. And we had got a bid from the contractor to do that, and it was gonna be like $30,000. After talking to the Parks Department, they felt comfortable that they could relocate it and do the work, but they did not have the budget for it. So regardless, we were gonna relocate it as part of our plaza project, rather than include it in the plaza project. We're doing it in-house, and we're paying for the materials to do it in-house. So it should save us like $20,000.
Good. I just wasn't sure why it came out of one pocket instead of the other.
Yep, that's why.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions on the claims from the rest of the group? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve those. I would like, if whoever makes the motion, to either include or exclude that last claim that was walk-in for today, the 15,000.
Jeremy, since we don't meet for a month and the work's been several months out, what would be your recommendation?
It's already done, so I'd just approve it. That's why I brought it to you, otherwise they're waiting another month. I got it today, so it's really up to you, but
Yeah.
we put it together, we're presenting it now, so if you want to approve it, that's fine. If you want to review it, then I'm okay waiting a month too.
Well, I don't think I have a problem with it. I'd maybe like to hear a consensus, see what anybody else wants to do.
Mike, you're very difficult to hear.
Is this, am I speaking into this or that?
This. If you speak into this, it should echo into that, but
You
try to
don't turn it on
project.
anymore, you just talk into it, get real close to it.
Yeah, you're
Can you
just
hear
gonna-
me? Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
That's better.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
This is George.
Just to repeat what I said, I'm sorry, George, go ahead.
Work was a couple months ago, I think it should be included, since Jeremy says it's done. So I wouldn't have a problem with approving that special claim with the claims for September.
Sure.
Does anyone else have that?
Yeah, does anyone have an objection to including that?
Nope.
Okay.
If not, I'll go ahead and make that, I'll go ahead and move that we approve the claims as presented and include the one that you added today, Jeremy.
Okay, George has made a motion to approve claims as presented in addition to the $15,000 one add-on that was not, was just added today. Do I hear a second?
I'll second. This is Mike.
Mike, make a second. Okay. We'll do a roll call vote. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes.
Mike Londaris,
Yes.
Jeff Gross,
Yes.
George Clemens.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you all for that. Moving right along. Get back to Mike. Okay, move into resolutions that were presented today. Starting with resolution 2020-0901. Jeremy, could you care to explain what that one is?
Yes. So we are starting the process that we agreed to in an MOU with Nextremity beginning of this year. That process included, or that MOU included a $250,000 contribution towards the purchase of equipment. So the first step in this process is to amend the existing TIF district plan. So the existing northern consolidated plan, we're amending it. And if you go all the way to the back of this resolution, you'll see a plan amendment attachment. And that's what this first resolution is doing. It is just amending it. It's doing two things. It's amending it to include the ability to purchase personal property for this project, and it is amending it, designating them a taxpayer so that that personal property is collected to pay for the incentive that we are giving.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding this resolution?
Jeremy, I do have a question. Well, is this specific just to Nextremity, or is this going to change the
So,
whole?
Two things. So it is specific to Nextremity in terms of the designated taxpayer.
Okay,
It is not specific to them in allowing economic incentives for private development, which will allow us to, in the future, do this for similar projects. But the designation of the taxpayer is specific to them, yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion items on this particular resolution? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Mr. Rick, I make that motion to approve?
Rick makes a motion to approve as presented.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second Rick's motion to approve 2020-0901.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second for resolution 2020-0901. We'll do a roll call vote. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes.
Mike Landeris,
Yes.
Jeff Gross,
Yes.
George Clemens.
I will abstain as an investor in the,
Okay. Well, and I will vote yes, so that the resolution is approved as presented. Okay? Move on to the next one, resolution 2020-0902.
So this resolution is declaring the equipment a special purchase and allowing for the acquisition of that equipment. And the reason for that is the equipment is germane to their operations, and I believe there's a description of that within the resolution, where it says, separate on both which required manufacturing medical instrument devices and such equipment consistent of this specific piece of equipment for turning center, automatic lathe, and other related accessories that I know nothing about. But this resolution is to attest for the specificity of the piece of equipment and the acquisition of that piece of equipment.
Well, I can certainly vouch for the fact that a Star turning center lathe with the nut controllers is generic to a orthopedic manufacturing process.
Thank
I will make that statement and stand by it. One thing I would like to see is, it appears that the memo of understanding date it has the date is blank on that. Could we fill that in?
Yes.
Thank you. It's on page 2 of that particular one. Not a big deal because it does list it as May of 2020, and I believe that's correct.
Yes.
I think we have a specific date on that though, that we could fill in.
Yeah, it will get
The
filled
title.
in. Yep, you're right. I need to fill that in.
Okay. And I think the following documents have the same issue.
Yeah, there's a couple of dates that we'll fill in once they're signed, and they'll be completed then.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to point that out. No big deal. Okay. Are there any additional questions or discussion on this particular document? O2? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I would go
Don't be shy.
ahead and make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-09-02.
Okay, Mike Lendaris makes a motion to approve 2020-0902. Do I hear a second?
Second, Mr. Rick Sanchez.
Rick makes a second. Okay, we'll call for a vote. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes.
Mike Lendaris,
Yes.
Jeff Gross,
Yes.
and George Clemens.
I'll abstain.
Okay, I will vote yes. Motion is approved as presented with the dates will be filled in at a later time, specific date, no. Okay? Moving on, resolution 2020-0903. Jeremy, you want to take
Yes.
that one?
So this resolution starts the disposition of that piece of equipment. So we've covered the amendment to the plan, the acquisition, the purchase, and this starts the disposition process, in which there will be a bid advertisement and so forth that we'll do before this comes back to you for the actual disposition in October. So this starts that disposition process. And then we will conclude with that disposition process in October, after satisfying the requirements outlined by the state code for the offering and so forth of the piece of equipment over the next month.
Okay.
So when you say October, what, is that when the piece shows up, or is that?
No, that's when we will finish. So there's some advertisement things that we have to do from now till October. We will do that, and then October, we would take any bids, which there won't be any, because you have to meet certain obligations. And then once that is done, then we would be able to dispose that piece of equipment to them.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Do you anticipate us doing that at the October meeting?
Yes.
October meeting?
Yes, in October, we'll have the final resolution, which will be the disposition, or I should say, in October, we will dispose of that property after going through the proper process through the legal requirements.
Okay. Good. Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
This is Rick, I'll make that motion to approve resolution 2020-09-03.
Okay. Okay, Rick Snodgrass made a motion to approve resolution 2020-0903.
I'll second that. This is Mike.
Mike, Mike Medeiros makes the motion, second to approve it. Roll call vote, yea or nay, Rick Snodgrass?
Yes.
Yes. Mike Medeiros?
Yes. Did you hear me? Yes.
No, I did not.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Jeff Gross?
Yes.
And George Clemens?
Abstain.
And I will vote yes. So motion to approve resolution 2020-0903 is approved as presented. Okay. Thank you very much. Move on to the next item on the agenda. I believe that's the vision plan, Argonne Corridor Vision Plan.
Yes, so this vision plan is being presented to you. This went through a committee that has reviewed the different renditions of this plan over the last 6 months. And it was kind of unanimously approved by them for their kind of final presentation about a week and a half ago.
Jeremy, who was on that committee?
Well, there's like 15 people.
Okay.
I
I believe they're listed on the end, at the end of the document.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
might be, because
Thank you, Tim.
if I had to name them all off, I'd be.
Yeah, I
So,
was on.
yeah, so you got Jonathan, my assistant planner, Justin, Dean Avey, Craig Allenbaugh, Joey Loshi, Jan Orban, Troy Gamble, Kevin Feldman, Scott Woods, Craig Snow, Matthew Graham, Richard Haddad, George Clemens, John Martin, and then there was some Vince Epps, Leah Till, and Pat Likens were part of the MACOG team. Maggie Egbarts and Beth Grigsby. So there's quite an extensive group of people who kind of went through this over the last 6 months. This is part of the plan that you paid for. What I would like, because this is also part of the plan that we're using for the application for the Argonne housing project. What I'd like the Redevelopment Commission to do is just kind of formally accept and approve this plan. And then going forward, we can utilize this to promote projects in this area in the future.
Okay. Was there anyone in particular that headed this thing up?
Yeah, Alan Teo was the one that was overseeing, and obviously Kedco paid for a portion of it, Winona Lake paid for a portion, and then we paid for a portion of this study to be completed for this plan.
And it appears that the Anderson Bolander organization is actually the writers, the authors of this.
That's correct. Yeah, it's been a few months, but we did approve the contract, our portion of the contract, which was $15,000 to come out of the Gatke redevelopment district, the Winona Interurban Redevelopment District. And this is the conclusion of that study that we paid for, I want to say in March or February.
And do we know that all the 15 people that are listed as authors of this, or I should say participants in this plan, were all in agreement with this plan?
Yes, they gave a presentation, like I said, about a week and a half ago, and everybody was excited to see the results of their conversations over the last 6 months.
Okay. Even George.
Even George, he didn't.
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. and for most of, everybody who was involved, just see a plan sort of come together. There's a lot of variables in the future, of course, and some people would like to see, you know, some development that might be far-fetched, you know, really nice shops and stuff, but everybody wants to see the action taken where we can redirect some of the areas that have been quite, you know, industrial into things more suited for a gateway, you know, between Warsaw and Winona Lake. So I think everybody was in agreement on that.
So is this an attempt to convert this area from industrial, commercial to more, I should say, more commercial and residential?
I think it's an attempt to look at an active reuse of some dilapidated and unused buildings in this area, and potentially some infrastructure improvements that may make redevelopment more conducive in this area. It's not, you know, and I think there's a lot of options if you read through it. It's not saying that you have to do this here or this there. It gives some flexibility, but really it's trying to reinvigorate the area through some mixed use that may include residential, commercial, and then even still some light manufacturing. But I think it's unrealistic to assume at this point that heavy manufacturing is coming back to this area. So it's really an attempt to recategorize this area and its uses into more of a mixed use with maybe some commercial, residential, and then, like I said, still some moderate, low-key manufacturing, but more light industrial than heavy industrial that it may have been in its heyday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any questions regarding this? I guess the only question I have is how does this bind us into any kind of specific kind of investment, or is that
No.
is it open as it presents?
Yeah, so it's open. It's not saying we're going to do anything. It's just more or less the board formally accepting this document as a means to potential redevelopment projects. But it's not saying you will do this or we will do that. It's basically just giving a broad redevelopment plan of the area and some possible mixed-use developments in the future, or things that we can pursue and market in the future.
Okay, good. Are there any other questions for Jeremy on this vision plan? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. George Clemens, I'll move we approve that. The vision plan presented.
As presented. Do I hear a second?
This is Rick, I'll second.
Rick Snodgrass seconds. Okay. Do the roll call vote. All in favor, Rick Snodgrass?
Yes.
Mike Landeris?
Yes.
Jeff Gross?
Yes.
And George Clemens?
Yes.
I also will vote for approval. So therefore, this vision plan as presented is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. That's a lot of work. Moving on, next item on the agenda, I believe, is the real estate conveyance agreement.
Yeah, so more or less, this is an agreement with Real America Development for the Arnault property that we took control of, the city took control of like a month ago. This purchase agreement lays out what they will do and what we will do. And it is part of that IHCDA loan application that we're participating with Real America for housing to be placed on the Arnold property. There's only one change that will probably occur. There is still a section in here that may have been highlighted on yours that I'll work with Scott to change. It just says on section 4B, it says, office recorded a commitment agreeing to maintain affordable housing in accordance with rules developed through the City of Warsaw Housing and Neighborhood Development Department. We don't have that department, so that'll be either the Redevelopment Commission. It will be the Redevelopment Commission, so we'll reword that. But outside of that, Scott has put this together, and I went over it with him last week and feel confident that everything in here is what we need. This application goes in on September 18th, so we're working hard with Real America to get all the documentation put together to submit this round of funding for the IHCDA grant application. And this is one of those documents that needs to be completed prior to submission.
Will this put this property back on the tax roll?
Yes. Yeah, so I think we've talked about it a little bit, but what Real America is proposing is 2 3-story buildings, 60 affordable family rental units, a clubhouse, and then they'll have like a small little park there for the residents on this property.
Or are they gonna tear down the existing building
Yes, the existing building will be torn down.
at their expense?
Yes. Well, there will be other components of this agreement that we will discuss as we go through it, other incentives we may give them. One of those incentives may be the demolition of the property, but that we'll discuss. So obviously, we already own the property. We knew we had to demolish it, so one of the incentives that we'll probably enter into is we will continue to move forward with demolishing the facility. So the application goes in the 18th, but the award won't be made until, I think, January or February of next year. So we're just working towards that project. So one of the incentives that we have to give, there are points that are given for incentives that we make and money we agreed to spend, which that demolition would count towards scoring points for this application.
Okay, simply, is the Redevelopment Commission gonna pay for the demolition?
Yes. Well, that will be the request I will make.
Any idea what that's gonna cost?
Somewhere around 200,000.
Where will we be getting that money?
That money will probably come out of edit.
And the city of Warsaw owns this property free and clear now, correct?
Yes. So the city of Warsaw owns it. We will be transferring this property to the Redevelopment Commission in the near future. That's just a document that Scott has to put together as part of this project. Joe, the mayor would like to say something.
We've set money aside for demolition of commercial buildings, Rick, in the past. I think there's some money in, I think the Riverboat Fund.
A riverboat, yeah.
And it could come out of edit. As Jeremy said, the incentive is a big, it's an important part of this as we file these applications with IHCDA. So the city's participation scores more points and it enhances the potential of them getting awards awarded this grant. These are competitive grants, so the city is certainly willing to make that investment, to eliminate that eyesore and get it back on the tax rolls and address a housing issue that we've got, certainly been identified as a big problem. So I want to assure you that that's something that the city is very well prepared to take care of, and I hope we get to that point. Jeremy, I had one question for you along that same lines. When we donate either property or we do demolitions, the more monetary value,
Scores points.
the higher the score. On this piece of property, is there any value to it?
Yes.
For the purpose of
Yep.
that, it's not just a dollar.
Yeah, that's correct. So our agreement with them is selling it for $1, but that's just a placeholder in the document. But yes, they will get value for the land that we're giving, so that's money we're contributing to the project. The demolition, that's money we're contributing to the project. Any infrastructure projects we have correlating to this, we'll get credit for spending money. And then we also get credit, or they get points for any projects that are underway or that the municipality is spending money on, including the roundabout that Winona Lake is spending money on. That'll also give us credits towards points scored on the application.
Approximately, how much money is the development company putting in this?
It will be probably, if I had to guess, somewhere 7 to 8 million. I don't have that specific number from them, but I can guarantee you, Rick, it's a lot more than we're putting in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the senior housing project, we contributed our 300,000, and that project is roughly around 9 million. And that was 72 units. This is 60 units, with a clubhouse. So I'm guessing, like I said, I'm guessing it's maybe around 7 million, 8 million, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay, sounds good.
And that's all will all be on the tax rolls at that point.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is gonna be a project, in here, they have a 99-year, they agreed that this will be used for, rentals for 99 years. So, we'll recoup any money, we put into this long before, it ever, changes hands again. So this is a really good project long-term for us in terms of taking a piece of property that hasn't been on the tax roll since the early 90s. Or I should say, it's been on the tax rolls, but it's been a really depressed value, and pretty much the only thing they have been doing is paying taxes on a very dilapidated structure, and basically putting 7 million probably plus into the ground that will be on the tax roll for the next 50, 60, 70 years.
And probably won't sit like GATKE has for 30 years as we study plans and options,
Yep.
and always, tempted to tear it down and
I will, yeah,
spinning our wheels.
yep, and I will
This would
say,
be,
go ahead, George.
this would be a real coup, I think, to get it done this fast, since we just now are, getting the property and all that. So I'm very excited for the city, quite frankly, to see this eyesore come down. It's dangerous, very dangerous.
Yeah, and I do want,
People,
this is a project that we're gonna continue to work on, so, much like the senior housing project on Market Street, it took us, I think, 2 or 3 applications to get approval. There's certainly no guarantee we're gonna get approval this round, but, we're gonna push for approval, and we'll continue to work on this project. If that takes us 2 cycles or 3 cycles, we're committed to making that happen over the next couple of years.
The other thing to maybe think about too is if this gets up and gets going and is workable, it may be a catalyst to finally end up being able to do something with the Gatke property. Somebody may see that property and go, wow, I want that next.
Yep, yep.
No, that's a good point.
Yep. Okay, are there any other questions regarding this?
Based on what I've heard, this Rick, I would make a motion, we approve this agreement.
Rick makes a motion that we approve this agreement as presented. Do I hear a second?
I will second that. This is Mike.
Mike? Okay, roll call vote. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes,
Mike Funderas,
Yes.
Jeff Gross,
Yes.
George Clemens.
Yes.
Very good. All right. We'll get this project rolling.
What about you, Tim?
Sorry?
What about you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I also vote yes.
Good
So
man.
motion carries as presented. All right, next on the agenda, change order number 5.
So this is the last change order for the Airport Industrial Park Sanitary Sewer System, and the second page gives you, because there is a lot here, so the second page gives you kind of a breakdown of everything. So this kind of covers everything over the last few months as we've made some changes, and then the final quantities. So the change order includes some additional asphalt roadway that we rebuilt on 200 North. It includes a drainage culvert that we installed on Bell and Cessna. It includes the lateral that we actually got reimbursed from Wessler Engineering, that $18,500 that they agreed to pay for that they missed on the plans. It has a change order 2.1 and the existing pay quantities. Those last two are quantity adjustments for the total contract, which amounted in almost $148,000, almost $150,000 in reduction, which leaves us with a total decrease for change order number 5 of $39,868.79. And this is the last change order, and the next pay application will probably be the last pay application for this project.
Great. We don't often see a change order reduction.
This was a really large project, and so we had, the original bid, I think it was a little over $6 million, $6,090,000 in total. We had 276,000 in change orders to date, not including this $39,000 reduction. So I think we're really happy considering all the pipe that was in the ground, 18,000 some linear feet, considering everything that could possibly go wrong, all the things we could have found or hit. I think the contractor and Wessler Engineering and ourselves did a great job of managing this project, and all the work that James and the wastewater project inspector put into it, and Wessler. I'm really pleased with how it turned out.
Great. Okay, any questions on this? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Well, if Jeremy's pleased, I'm pleased, so I'll make that motion. This is Mike.
Yes. You made a motion to approve, is that correct?
Yes, sir?
Okay, do I hear a second?
This is George. I'll second that.
George seconds that. Okay. Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes?
Mike Lendaris,
Yes.
Jeff Gross,
Yes.
and George Clemens.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Okay. So the motion carries, is approved as presented for change order number 5. Very good. All right. Next thing on the agenda is the agreement between the Redevelopment Commission and Westler Engineering for the airport industrial sanitary sewer lateral
Yes.
locations.
So, letter went out in August to all the property owners. I think the beginning of August, we sent those letters out, telling them that they can now connect to the sanitary sewer system. And they have until the end of December to make that connection. As part of that project, we did not mark the laterals during construction for obvious reasons. They would have never lasted that long, and they would have been torn out and broke off and so forth. But we did have all of them, the coordinates in there, so that we could go back and mark them. Now that people are ready to tie on and we're submitting for the permits, I would like to have all of them marked for the property owners, so they're not out there trying to find the pin in the ground. So I'd like to pay Westler to go out and mark all of those. Some of the property owners are making their own connections, so this will save them from having to hire a surveyor or engineer to find that pin for them. And to mark all of them, they figured it'll take a couple of days and be about $4,500 in labor and material. And this would come out of the Northern TIF District Professional Services.
Jeremy, is there a hookup fee for these
Yes.
businesses?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be anywhere from probably a little, like 2,100 to, and it could be as high as 20,000. So, just depending on the water, how much water they use. The more amount of water you use, the higher your hookup fee.
Okay. Any other questions regarding this? I assume it's normally the city responsibility to mark.
Typically we would, during any construction project, we'd mark, which we did mark these. They are pinned. Unfortunately, it's not, unless you have a metal detector, you're probably not going to find it. So this just allows us to, we'll go out, mark, stick the lath in the ground. It'll help the property owners as they're getting their contractors so that they know where they have to take the pipe to. It'll also help those property owners who are making the connection themselves, so that they know where that lateral connection is, rather than giving them a piece of paper that says it's 50 feet from here, 60 feet from there. I think it's probably a goodwill on us to go out there and stake these laterals for them.
Agreed.
And the cost does not exceed 4,500.
That's correct.
Okay.
Did I see that somewhere in this document?
Yes.
Second page,
Okay.
third page.
Okay.
I'm sorry, third page.
Got it. Okay, Article 4, okay. Very good, not to exceed 4,500. All right. Are there any other questions for Jeremy regarding this document? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, that was Mike.
Yep.
And do I hear a second?
Rick, I'll second.
Rick Snodgrass seconds, okay. Roll call vote, favor, say aye. Yay. Rick Snodgrass,
Yes.
Mike Landeros,
Yes.
Jeff Gross,
Yes.
and George Clemens.
Yes.
Very good. And I say yes as well. So, motion is approved and the agreement is approved as well. So, all righty. Thank you, everyone. Is there any other business? Jeremy, did you have any comments for the group tonight?
I think the mayor would like to make a comment.
Yeah, I heard some really fantastic discussion about the Arnold site, and Mike hit the nail on the head, talking about a transformational catalyst type of project. You know, going back to 2016, when the city's vision was to improve that area, we're looking at a tired industrial area that had environmental concerns, probably was not giving image that we wanted with folks coming to and from our community along Argonne Road. We spent a lot of time and energy in 2016 developing a vision, but we needed these opportunities, we needed these projects, we needed these developers to come along. And, you know, you all have done a lot investing in the plan, the vision plan to refine a vision of that area. If you remember right, the council approved riverfront liquor licenses to, again, improve the opportunities in that area. Jeremy has worked hard to identify a developer to come in and put residential smack dab in the middle of an old, tired, worn out, beat up company. And that's a transformational project. That's a catalyzing project. And, you know, this is just, to me, this is really fulfilling to see that you all sign on to this project, knowing what we've been wanting to do. But a lot of good things take time, and it's an opportunity, and when you get an opportunity, we have to do everything we can to maximize that opportunity. But I'm very, very happy that, you know, again, I think, Tim, you mentioned this is a quick project. George, you talked about converting from an old industrial area. Again, Mike, you talked about a catalyzing plan, and you all hit it on the head. And this is great. I just want to thank you all for the work that you've done. And certainly, this is an area with a lot of challenges, and there will be, I'm sure, some landmines along the way that we'll have to navigate. But at the end of the day, Jeremy and his team, the planning department, done a great job. And, you know, again, I'm kind of acting as a cheerleader, but this is one I'm just really doing backflips about, so thank you.
Well, I would echo that, you know, Jeremy and his team have done a great job, and Mayor, kudos to you too. I mean, it takes a quarterback to make the team function on all cylinders, so thank you.
That's right. Good point.
I do want to give a brief update. We are in the process, this is our year to recertify our tech park, so I've been working on it, seems like since March. We had, originally there was an October 1st deadline. I think they moved it back to November the 1st, but I hope to have that done, and so that I can present that to you at our October meeting. We will present the recertification application to the state. I will probably submit it to them as soon as I get it completed, but I do want to present that to you once it's completed. So you will have a copy. We can provide a copy to the media, but some of it will be redacted as per the state requirements, but it will still spell out all the work that we have done and continue to work towards within our technology park. So just things to look forward to.
Thank you. We certainly do look forward to that. Jeremy Mullins, did you have any comments for us tonight?
No, I just agree. I think this stuff is exciting. I didn't read the whole document. It was like 80 pages long, but I looked through a lot of it. It was fantastic. So it's exciting to think about the future.
Anything we should know about from the school board?
No, I think we just continue the challenge of keeping the kids in the schools during COVID, like a lot of businesses and organizations are dealing with. So we appreciate everybody's patience and support. I know not everybody agrees on all the details, but we're all doing the best we can to keep the kids in the buildings. So appreciate everything.
Well, we're well aware of the fact that you always have the best interest of the community in mind as we make these very difficult decisions. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Anything else come before this illustrious commission?
That's all I got.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, since Rick and I are making all the motions tonight, I'll make one.
Thanks, Mike.
Good. Very good. We'll do a voice count on this one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? All right. Well, gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kim.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you and good night.
Hey, I just unmuted the call. Are you guys still there?
I'm here.
Still here.
Since when is the microphone always on?
At least last month.
Last month,
Yeah.
he said, we don't have to turn it on, it's always on.
What'd they do that for?
More amusement from people, you know, muttering offhand comments under their breath, and now we get to, everybody gets to hear them.
I think there was a problem with people turning them off and on, messing them up, so it's, less people touching the better.
Yeah.
Once we started using portables in the courtrooms, so they could record proceedings better, that was, probably 10 years ago. And of course, people were not used to them, so they turned them on, they're in their jacket pocket, they just kind of go over and walk in. And there's one person who, you know, carried the
I
open
don't
mic
have
all the
one
way
for
into the
him.
bathroom.
Oh, I do, because I
We
have
had
pictures.
discussions in the bathroom and then left. And
That's always exciting.
I'm not gonna tell you which bench that judge sits on now. I'm just gonna tell you that it happened. Might end up in Holly. Sigh. Every time I see his news column, I think, hey,
Yeah, you just don't.
he's just so discouraged. And I know the content of the column doesn't say that, but just the title. Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, and it makes me sad every time I read it, just because I know he's so depressed.
I read it like my wife,
Yeah,
and she goes, what's that even mean?
yeah.
You can take it off during.
I need something more
Okay.
I got a title for you. Jay Rigdon on the community. Let's just call it that. And then people can
Those two are-
substitute for my comments. as
Those
we
two
go.
aren't in the right.
You can still write what you want to, it's just my name to be in the
Here.
title. Yeah, I'm not asking for a lot.
John's supposed to go down.
That's okay.
All right.
It's 5:17,
It sure is, according to Apple,
according to
the
Apple.
ruler of everything. I will go ahead and call the September meeting of the Board of Aviation Commissioners of the City of Warsaw to order. You should all have received your minutes, hopefully electronically. I understand Mr. Zale is not able to be here tonight, so we will not wait for him. And we'll head directly to the a review of the August 11, 2020 minutes.
I move we accept the minutes as written.
I apologize for not being here, but what is task order number 1 and number 2?
Let me pull that up. It was for the runway projects. I won't steal CHA's thunder. I know that they'll go over this in the engineer's report. Task order number 1 was for the 1836 rehab. Task order number 2 is the power lines, it's the power line lowering
So
project.
this is money going to CHA?
Correct.
Okay.
Authorize their work, and it ends up coming
From the
federal
grants.
Yeah.
And Nathan and Mary are on the line. They'll give an update here in just a second on where we are with both of those task orders.
Okay, if you were not here and not comfortable with seconding, I will go ahead and second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We have a majority of the folks that are here. Next, claims. What do you have particularly to point out to us, Nick?
Ascent didn't get approved. Ascent Aviation.
We're doing claims now.
Oh, jeez.
big things that you guys will probably wonder what those are. The Beaver Research Company, that was a sanitization sprayer for the airport terminal building and crew cars, so that we will be able to, it uses an atomized spray that disinfects surfaces. And it is electron negative charge, so it'll go on all surfaces, both on top and underneath, just to help disinfect. Outside of that, Chuck's Custom Fencing for $4,515. That was to get the gate and the fence repaired from where the drunk driver went through the gate and fence, and then we're working with insurance to get reimbursed. So we'll probably see, I think, about $2,015, because I think our deductible's $2,500. So we just paid that because it needed to get done, and then we're working with insurance to get reimbursed on that.
Is that person being prosecuted?
I can double check on that. I know that they were arrested that night, and that's
That's all I need
the
to
extent
know.
of my knowledge
Okay.
of the situation.
I assume we'll catch up with them sooner or later.
Yep.
But, send me a name, just to make sure
Yep.
we don't accidentally run into it in conflicts, so.
Can do.
Any further questions about the claims?
I move we accept the claims, especially the $25,076.79 for Accent Aviation Group.
I'll second.
Moved in second, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay.
I have
Motion
one,
carried.
I have one more thing that is not on the claims, but next month we will be receiving our aviation support and maintenance bill from DBT Transportation Services. That contract is up at the end of October, and so I reached out to DBT to get a quote on what our new contract would be. That price has not gone up, and it is $8,478 a year, or $18,478 a year. It's been the same price since I've been airport manager, and that includes all of our routine maintenance on both the instrument landing system and the AWOS. All of our monthly, quarterly, and annual checks, our annual FAA check, all of that is included in that. The only thing it excludes is if parts break. So that's just the maintenance technician showing up once a month to do all of that. So if the board so wishes, this would be another 2-year contract that would be effective November 1, 2020, and then would go for 2 years and on October 31st, 2022. And so that contract total would be $36,956 over the 2 years. We need a motion.
Motion.
Yep.
I move we accept the contract renewal as stated.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the renewal of a 2-year contract with DBT Transportation Services. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
And I'll get you, that bill we will receive next month for the November docket, so. Engineers report.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. It is Mary Kirstein. I am back from maternity leave. I hope that I left you all in good hands with Nathan. Nick seems to be in a good mood with everything from Nathan. So he is on the line, so if you guys have any questions that I may not be able to answer from still getting caught up on everything, he's still going to be around for a little while. So don't worry, we won't just up and take him away from you. First up is the Runway Project. So we held a pre-construction meeting with the contractor on August 25th, and they are wanting to try to do this project this fall still. They are available to do the work this fall. Really the main thing that we are waiting on is the federal grant from the FAA. It was announced last week by FAA headquarters that you all received the runway grant, but we just haven't physically received that copy in the mail yet. So, Jay, that will be sent to the airport, and we will need a signature. You know how they do. They want a signature right away and mailed back right away. So,
And
but we
then,
will need you available for that.
well, I'm not, I just got back from vacation, so I'm not going anywhere. But,
Well,
the-
good.